All right. Let's get to it, because already going to be taking her first base up towards that third spot. Neeb will not be able to block that, despite the probe giving it a little good go.
So, to go back to our predictions in the pregame, I know I predicted Neeb to take this one 2-0. On any other given day, I'd normally probably pick Scarlett, actually. I really believe in her chances in general to take down Neeb. I know she has defeated Neeb quite a few times in the past when it really mattered. But Scarlett has just been playing Brood War lately, non-stop. And to be fair, it's the only time I've really been watching Brood War. I watched a little bit of... I mean, Itosis did a great job in organizing a couple of show matches first. And I was like, well, I just love watching Scarlett play games. Because what is that, a wall? That's so funny. Spraying. Yeah, you've got 3 worker sprays right now. I don't know if you... This is a big change, by the way, in the spray meta. You can now spray 3 times instead of 1.
Wow, huge. Yeah.
To wrap up the story real quick, I've just been watching Scarlett play quite some Brood War, and I almost feel that she's enjoying Brood War a little bit more right now than StarCraft 2. I heard somebody else say on the other day on the broadcast, I don't know who it was, that Neeb apparently hasn't been practicing that much either. I just don't really believe that, because Neeb, in my opinion, is always a grinder. He's always putting in the games. And that's why I predicted Neeb to take this one. Oh my goodness, how many sprays do we get? What's happening to Beautiful Ice and Chrome Colors?
Now it's being desecrated, unfortunately. And there's more walls. He walled in.
Oh, this is just a meme. What is happening?
Drone panicked for a second.
I feel like Neeb should send another worker to the other side of the map just to keep spraying. I gotta say, they could have picked better sprays though. Like, if you want to spray this much, like, pick something a little better.
Yeah, there's a few nice ones. We saw a few yesterday as well. I was excited by that. Actually, it might have been Neeb. No, it wasn't. All right, so our Adept's on the way. Stargate going down 2. See what's going to come off this.
You know, I have never changed the hotkey of StarCraft 2 in my life, but I should really change the spray one. Because, like, right now it's on Y or something, and that's just not a button I press very often. Yeah. So I spray it only when I really think of it. But if you put it on an easier to click button, then I think I'd have a lot of fun, because I always used to spray Chemo, the Doge, you know, the Akita.
Oh, yeah.
I love that one.
That is a good one. That is a good one. The only time I ever changed my hotkeys when doing StarCraft stuff was for observing, like just making things a little bit easier, shortcuts and stuff like that. It was really good, but yeah.
Alrighty, to talk a little bit about StarCraft 2, James, we've got a Void Ray opening. Now, I would love to see a second. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. I think this is just one of these Void Rays that's going to chill, take care of a couple of Overlords. At least Scarlett will get the confirmation that there is an Oracle as follow-up. Cancel the Oracle, make another Void Ray, make another Stargate.
Do it.
Not gonna happen, though.
Chrono Boost into the Oracle, getting that out lickety-split as fast as possible, with the Nexus going down on the 3rd base, actually. So Neeb keen to get his economy really boosted nice and fast. The Void Ray will sit over there, defending.
Scarlett's making a lot of Overlords for no reason, really. It was quite a bit of free supply. She's like, no, I want more. So now we're 58 out of 82. Technically not the cleanest way to get your build order done. But obviously Zerg can produce a lot of drones at once, so it's not as bad as it is with some of the other races.
Yep, Twilight Council, as well as the Forge coming on here for a Neeb. So transitioning on to more usual things. This Oracle, what's it going to find? Anything in the main base? Spore Crawler's already going down. Queens are alerted to the attention required. Ooh, maybe? No. One. 2.
Kind of weird how the drones are on follow there. I hope Scarlett is going to fix that quickly, and she does in the end. So only 2 drones going down. It's not too bad, right? But
not too bad. Robo Facility going down 2. +1 starts up, and even just securing the fact that this vision needs to be taken away. Although I think One Ling's going to go on reposition. So, and then, yeah. So constantly having to deal with this. Scarlett really wants to know if any movements are going down towards this location.
Quite a few units were heading into the main base, almost like Scarlett was expecting something there. But there's really... Maybe Scarlett is trying to hide the links. Did the Evo chamber get scouted? Alright, so Neeb did not see that Evo chamber yet. That's actually researching +1 melee, and I don't want to make a super big deal of this, but +1 melee is a little bit different having it this early on. We do know that Scarlett loves obviously the Ling Bane upgrades and loves just making a lot of Zerg units, try to get Banelings into those mineral lines, but this is pretty early.
Yeah, and trying to be very aggressive with the creep spread as well here. I mean, it is Scarlett, so it's not too much of a surprise. A few more extra gateways being added on here. A lot of Lings in production. Maybe a bit more of an aggressive push on out with the amount of units that are coming along.
Neeb is already getting a couple of cannons up. It's like, this is just all going a little too well, right? Normally you expect to be under some sort of pressure. It's a little bit harder to get your bases up. You expect Zerglings to be annoying. Maybe a tiny Baneling attack here and there are super random, but nothing is really happening. And Neeb is like, well, I've got 3 bases. I've got 64 probes. Kind of like where this is going. Oracle is going to fly in and grab 3. Wow, gets out of there as well with 1 HP. Calculated. Big brain, Neeb.
Oh, beginning of these sentries actually die off to Lings. I mean, even forcing this force fields is not too bad, but none of them will die off in the end. A little bit less energy to be working with when it comes to eventually dealing with the Hydralisks that are going to be coming along.
Only 6 Hydras out right now for Scarlett, so I'm actually a little bit worried. I think keeping this fort base alive is going to get very hard. Neeb has quite a few Zealots coming in. Neeb doesn't commit to it yet. I'm surprised. I feel like if the Zealots click on that hatchery, it's super dead.
Same time, though. It's quite a bit of power behind this now. All congregating down this position. Banelings can join in as well. And we'll be able to kind of push away those Zealots. They want to be running away from those Banes.
Yep, I mean, Neeb is doing a really good job in making sure that the Banelings are not crashing into the Zealots, but we have a few more Banelings showing up, and they do connect with the Zealots. Scarlett keeping her fort base alive is obviously the most important thing here.
Not many Lings left over, along with no Banes either, so maybe an extra little push would have done some more damage, but doesn't want to commit to it too much. I mean, Storm's on the way, +2 is going to be on the way, as well as some Immortals and extra High Templars warping in, so there is every building block here for Neeb to get his 4th up and running, and then continue on from there.
Yeah, with +2 melee on the way, obviously Scarlett does have something going for herself, but I'm not really feeling this because the economy hasn't been that good. Like normally if a Zerg is playing Hydra Ling Bane, you're expecting the Zerg to have like a proper worker advantage for quite some time. Rush out 4 bases, 82, 86 drones, right? Something among those lines. And that's when Zerg starts applying heavy pressure. That's not really the case. Scarlett is hovering around 65 drones. Neeb has been at 72 for quite some time. Storm on the way, 4 bases on the way. Obviously, it's hard for Neeb to just close out a game. You don't want to step on creep with very few High Templars, but I'd be lying if I said I'm loving this position for Scarlett.
Yeah, not the easiest, and not really too much control exerted over the map either. So right now, Neeb is feeling very comfortable about the position that he finds himself in, I think.
Yeah, it's always nice, I think, if you're getting into the later stages of a PvZ, like not an ultra late game, but where you're really getting a proper army going and you haven't really struggled, you haven't been under any real pressure. Now, Scarlett is going to bring some spice to this match. You see the Nidus network go down, 9 Swarm most as well. I actually kind of like it. We haven't seen it that much lately, but I feel like all you really need is one successful wave of Locust, and then suddenly the game could be yours as a Zerg.
There was an attempt yesterday, I think it was by Stefano going up against Drogo in the last game, and it kind of came a little bit late after the Adepts were done or with doing their damage.
No, I watched the casting of you guys in that game, and obviously you're spot on. Like, I actually like the choice of going Swarmos there because I think he was super dead doing anything else. But yeah, and in the end, Drogo just did a really good job in avoiding the Locust wave when they could have potentially been gnarly. I mean, that game, Stefano lost, I think, 24 drones to the Adepts in the beginning of the game. It was just a little too much. Yep,
definitely so. Actually, knowing that this army is positioned up towards the top with the next Nidus Worm pop in, a few units may end up dying to these Locusts, but storming Locusts, it feels bad, but it's also necessary.
Yep, especially because once the Protoss army gets bigger, it's a lot easier to deal with the Locust. But if you start losing units to these first waves, well, then it doesn't really stop, right? It just keeps on going.
Yeah.
It's a domino effect, and you know, you're just trying to take care of Locusts forever. So taking care of that first wave with a couple of storms, I'm with you. It's not bad, and I think it's kind of necessary.
All right, look, Den going down. Pneumatized Carapace, get those overlords nice and speedy. Maybe the potential for drops later on down the line. Scarlett is full of tricks as we have those swarm hosts positioned down to the bottom right-hand side, looking to launch. Oh, Zealots, though, actually find this position quite quickly for some of these locusts to not be optimal.
Yeah, quite something. But look at Neeb. Neeb doesn't really care about anything, and he's on the other side of the map, starting to step on creep. Bailey's coming in from multiple angles, though. The High Templars few exposed. Galaris.
Nice Storm actually stopped them in the tracks there before they were able to get onto those High Templars. But again, there's still nothing to buffer for them, realistically speaking. No big Zealot numbers to crash into any kind of Lings or Hydras that would come along on the other side. But gets a base off the back of all of this movement. Wow.
Yep, and obviously Neeb is not done yet. Wants to get more. The Swarmos are just waiting until they can fire forward another wave of Locusts. Storm is going to zone them away for now. A couple of random Hydras coming in from the right side. It's so crazy to see how deep Neeb is on creep without a Prism or anything, but he's getting great damage done, so why the hell not? Random Forcewood goes down. There are still so many Storms available. Another hatchery goes down.
Are we going to recall, or are we just sitting here? I might be on cooldown, I suppose. There we go. Actually morphing in the High Templars before the recall so that the High Templars weakened would not actually die off during all of that. I really like it. I like these moves by Neeb. He found the perfect window to attack while the Swarm hosts were preoccupied on the right-hand side.
Yep, like you said, a couple of those Zealots on the right side baiting out the initial, like, first 4 or 5 Locusts that came out. I mean, just perfect play by Neeb. I really feel that Neeb is running away with this game. He's up 14 workers. We've got 3 carriers on the way, plus 1 air weapons already as well. He's chrono boosting out those air upgrades because he knows I'm watching and I get really upset otherwise. Neeb is in the driver's seat.
Yeah, it's the small details that matter, and the small details for Neeb are very quickly adding up quite nicely here. So another Nidus Worm up towards the top, ready to go for it though. Can shut that down, no problem.
Well, if Neeb is paying attention, and he is. Spots it in the end. Yeah, I think that Scarlett probably feels a little bit hopeless about this game as well. But seems like, well, Lurkers are pretty strong defensive units, so maybe I can get a whole bunch of Lurkers out and drag this one out. But normally I'd get super excited for a Neeb against Scarlett late game scenario. I'd love to see it. I just don't think Neeb is going to give Scarlett the actual time that Scarlett really needs to drag this to the late game.
I'm curious as to how much anti-air there even is, really. There is 4 queens.
And 2 spore crawlers, James.
Yeah. Oh, some Hydra's being added on. Yeah, but these 3 carriers are going to be a bit of a nuisance. Also, Dark Shrine on the way, so any extra little nuisances are going to be very irritating to deal with here. Locust get a few kills.
1 Zealot gets actually the scout that there is almost nothing there, but Scarlett is going to bring the Swarmos back, so together with the Swarmos, but you make a very valid point about the anti-air. The anti-air just isn't really there. These 3 carriers can absolutely just take the fight by themselves. It's something we know. It's hard for Neeb to really analyze that in the same way as we can, because we see everything. But he's setting up multiple run-bys as well. Zealots in the 9 o'clock base, Zealots at 6 o'clock as well. You gotta love the way that Neeb is playing this.
That's right, in the west, the south, and in the middle of the map currently, and even pushing on against these swarm hosts as well. The Locusts will drop down on towards these Archons, but just storming this area. They are gone. Paperweights are the swarm hosts right now, as the army coming in from the left-hand side here. Hydra is trying to do as much as possible, focusing down the carriers quickly here to try and deal with them, but they don't actually even get the kill. Have to focus on some of these interceptors. That's a disaster. It's GG. Neeb will take game number 1.
Yeah, that was a relatively one-sided affair, I think, from start to finish. You just felt that, like, normally we always praise Scarlett for her insane macro. I see those rushes up those worker counts. When I see like 66, 64 drones, quite a few Lings, Banes, Scarlett not getting any probe kills on the other side of the map. I don't want to say that Swarmos was like a desperation play, but it also felt like a little bit later than we've seen it normally. And traditionally, we always saw roaches because roaches are cheap, and then you use roaches to control the map, and then you go Swarmos because then you can put the majority of your gas. But Hydras already take a lot of gas. Hydra upgrades take a lot of gas, so Hydra into Swarmos is not something we see super often. After the first wave got shut down, I wasn't really feeling that game for Scarlett.
Yeah, especially since you're going for zealot run buys, you're forcing quite a few banelings to be constantly morphed in to try and deal with those zealot run buys and things like that. All of your gas is being concentrated elsewhere, whilst then the follow-ups are being set up for Neeb. I mean, nothing of Neeb's economy got touched at all, right? He, as you said, he got, I think, 64 workers really rapidly with no deterrence whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, Neeb was actually up like 7-8 workers in a crucial phase in the game while we're going up to 4 bases. Well, that should definitely be the other way around. Like, normally as a Protoss, you're happy if you're at like 62, 64, Zerg is at 80. While you're getting like, okay, I'm getting at least 4 bases. I'm getting Immortals, Archon, Storm. I don't know if we really had a lot of Immortals that game. I don't believe we did, but at least we get the proper army out for Neeb. So even if you're down a couple workers, you're quite okay with that position as long as you survive. This game, Neeb was actually ahead in workers, and well, I don't know who said that Neeb hasn't been practicing a lot, but Neeb's gameplay looked very clean there. Scarlett looked a little worse than I normally see her.
Difficult in those moments, of course. Again, there's always the mantra of you got to keep a Zerg in check, and sometimes you got to keep some of the other races in check in the earlier stages.
No, absolutely. And like, it wasn't even that Neeb played, like, I think Neeb played a very clean game, but it wasn't like nothing crazy in the early game, like adapts, oracles, all synced up, you know, perfect fights, queens out of position. Like, no, it was like a little bit of damage here, a little bit of damage there, void ray just controlling. And Neeb was honestly just, it kind of felt like he was cruising that game, just going up to 3 bases, going up to 4 bases, getting the key units out. Let's see if game 2 has more fireworks in store for us, because that's obviously what we're hoping for. In the top left side, we're looking at the reigning defending champion of DreamHack America. It is Neeb.
I do love the green glow of that Nexus. And down to the bottom right hand corner in the red, it is Scarlett.
Actually the first game of Scarlett in this entire group. Obviously Scarlett has a couple of games to play. It seems like the spraying meta is continuing. What do you make of that spray? How would you rate it?
Balanced out of 10. Yeah, that's what I would go for. It's not great though.
It's creating a path. It's like follow this path to find my probe. It's like spreading breadcrumbs. Man, you're collecting sprays so quick right now. 4 sprays already in the game. All right, Scarlett, after getting hatch blocked, going for that 108 gas. It's not super early, but I'd keep a close eye on what's going on, because we all know that Scarlett does enjoy the occasional link flood. I'm feeling cheddar.
Yeah, you think so? Should I get my cheesecake out again?
Do you have more cheesecake, James?
I have a huge cheesecake. I've got so much cheesecake. You know, I was saying I was fat before. Oh, we're getting big and fat now.
I want to say I'm jealous, but that would sound wrong. But I'm still jealous. Neeb is doing as much as he possibly can with his prop. Obviously, the way that mining works is that there's always a little bit of an animation. As you guys can see, it glows up. And then for a couple of seconds, you're occupying the mineral patch and your opponent can't actually mine from it. These are the little things. I would almost say don't try this at home. Every single time I do this, I forget a pylon at home. So I stop. I'm like, you know what? I'm just not good enough. But if you are really good and you can find the extra APM, doing little tricks like this, it does actually kind of hurt the economy of your opponent. Not by much, but hey, at the highest level, everything makes a difference.
I mean, Neeb is being pesky, and it's very rare nowadays that I see a probe shocking the drones. But yeah, just a little bit of an annoyance as the Lings are going to chase that away. Stargate going down 2. What kind of flavor of cheese are you thinking from Scarlett, or do you think it's kind of beyond?
Well, we are getting drones already, so I think I was maybe just wrong. Is maybe Death Aura is not the right map for it. Maybe we get a game 3. I was hoping for maybe a Link Flood or a Baneling Bus, something along these lines, but obviously this Adept is always going to get some scouting info, very important scouting info. So Neeb is going to check, and obviously sending it all the way in is important, so you can see the amount of gas that has been mined. And Neeb is like, all right, normal game, cool. Can we get more of the same in game 1? I'd like that.
can I get a Void Ray? Can I please get a Void Ray? That's all I want. But no, it's going to be the Oracles. So.
Tomorrow, James, my boy Goblin will be playing again. You'll get all the Void Rays.
Yeah, but I'm just hosting at that point. No more commentary for me after this day. I gotta cherish these moments, Roddy. I gotta cherish them with you.
You can still enjoy them even if you're hosting, or are you telling me that you're not paying attention to the games if you're hosting, James?
Oh, I am. I'm just not, the energy isn't infused in the game. I'm not there mono with the players, Yeah.
All right. Well, Neeb is going for a very similar build to game 1. Last game it was Void Ray into Oracle. This time it's Oracle into Void Ray. And maybe that's why the Spore Crawler wasn't done yet. Now, obviously, 2 queens should be enough. There's no Spore Crawler in the natural either. Yeah, and gets the Scout on the Evo Chamber. 1 more drone. This is a pretty amazing start already for Neeb.
Oh, yeah, definitely 2 Spore Crawlers finishing now.
Second Void Ray. Oh.
Ooh.
Polaris, you may be getting your wish.
Can I please get more Void Rays? Yes.
Well, I think you will, because I don't know about a 2 Void Ray build. It's either 1 Void Ray or it's many Void Rays.
Just keep up going all the way. We have the Robo Facility going down as well. Third base about to be planted. Certainly did see that probe though, I think. Maybe a little bit of a glance. Third Void Ray. Yay!
Yep, that Void Ray count is climbing. Neeb is doing this with a single Stargate. There's no +1 air weapons yet, so I want to say he's not getting super crazy, but to be fair, 3 Void Rays, already kind of crazy, but I have to admit, my kind of crazy.
Yeah. How do you like the Void Rays? Come on, Protoss aficionado. Do you like the new ones?
I mean, the new ones are definitely a lot better than the old ones.
Oh, yeah.
Say I'm in love with it is a bit much. I still prefer my Phoenix gameplay because, I mean, StarCraft is a game of seconds and Phoenix is just built quicker and fly around. And obviously, I've got way more experience with them. But, in the old days when I felt that I could be in trouble and I made a Void Ray and then I wasn't in trouble, I'm like, damn, now I've got a Void Ray. What am I going to do with this? Right now, I'm like, if I make a Void Ray that I didn't really need, I'm like, well, Void Ray is pretty good, so I'm definitely quite happy with it as a Protoss player. They're more fun. Let's keep it at that.
The Void Ray versus this base location right here seems like the eternal battle on Death Aura. Every time I see a PvZ, that location there in particular, the 4th base, almost always gets denied by Void Rays. So let's see if that occurs later on.
Oh, 1 Void Ray could be in a bit of trouble, but good job by Neeb saving it. I'd like to see Neeb maybe realize that he still has an Oracle as well. Because at this point, Neeb is doing a good job in keeping Scarlett on 3 bases, of course, finding some damage with the Rays, but Void Rays are not very good against Mutalisk, and there is a Spire on the way.
Yep, it's going to take a little while to finish on up, of course. Spire takes a long time, but that window for the Void Rays is going to be rapidly closing, if not careful. The only nice thing is I suppose, is that if you use a Spire to counter this, then at least you've got a Stargate to start countering the Spire later on if you want things like Phoenix.
Oh, I love this. Scarlett is trying to get a little cheeky over here by taking her fort base at the rich Vespian guys. Neeb doesn't see it yet because no Zerg is supposed to do it. Now Neeb spots it, like, what? You're not supposed to do this. You can't even keep this base alive. Neeb's probably wondering right now, so what are you doing, Scarlett? Because what has Neeb seen? Queens and Zerglings. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure you're mining some gas. Where is that gas going?
Ling Banes and Queens in this. Actually, that's quite a lot of army, to be fair. Probably going to have to move on away from that. Trying to throw the force fields down to the Queens, but that's huge Baneling connections on that ground army. The Void Rays will survive for now, but that's because Baneling can't hit up. Everything would have died otherwise.
One Immortal getting recalled, but that was obviously an absolutely amazing fight for Scarlett. Not sure what Neeb was doing there. I think it was just looking for a cancel on the 4th base. It wasn't really there. Now we've got 6 Mutas on the way, plus 1 flyer attacks as well. And don't forget, Neeb just recalled Kalara, so these Void Rays cannot get recalled.
Yeah, gotta be a little bit more careful with this. And we're gonna try and deny this 4th base location. The eternal battle will continue. And does deny, but then gotta run away now. Run, run, run.
I mean, they are quick, even without Flux Veins, they're a little bit quicker. Scarlett's gonna try to re-expand once again at the 4th base with the double Rich Vespian Geyser. If Scarlett can get that base up and running, we've got one hell of a game on our hands, because then our gas income is just going to be off the charts. A lot of Mutas, a lot of Banelings. That could be really fun.
The Rich Vespian Geyser is like double the speed, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
so
So you're basically getting 4 gases instead of 2 gases.
That's nuts. Especially if you're like on Muta tech. Jeez.
Yep. If you're playing Muta Bane, I mean, that's just a dream. Like,
yeah.
That is the gas income you're looking for. There is a stasis trap, a very big stasis trap on the top side, while we have a War Prism indeed in the main base as well. The Observer caught that, James. I did not.
That was big. Very, very nice. And Mutalisk is going to try and get themselves into the main. Phoenix are being produced. But the chase down will continue.
Neeb is, I think, just going to try to buy some time with another stasis trap actually connecting with a lot of these Zerglings as well. Second Stargate now on the way. Neeb is going to spam more Zealots in the main, but with all the Queens and these Zerglings that have decent upgrades as well, I think Scarlett should be more than capable of dealing with his own. The Oracle got picked off. I have to think of War Prism as well, but it was just the Oracle.
I had a scary feeling that those Zerglings might get themselves immortal there for a moment, but it's not to be, as the Void Rays and the Archons will push away the Mutas. Muta number is getting kind of scary. We're going to be going up to 25 Mutas pretty soon.
Wow. Yeah, that went real quick. Oh my goodness. Double rich Vespian gas. I mean, Scarlett is mining 1800 gas a minute at this point. That's insane. Compared to Neeb, the 1000 gas. 1000 gas only feels like nothing.
I mean, yeah, just take this and just use it for the Vespian gas. Care about the minerals for the moment. That is very, very powerful. And more Mutas on the way. Oh, we're going to be up to 30-some Mutas soon.
At one point, the Muta count is going to get this high. They can actually just hover above Archons as well. Yeah. Obviously, Archons are always intimidating. Shield Battery doesn't really save the day, even though Battery Overcharge is excellent. And Scarlett's like, well, I should probably disengage here. Scarlett is definitely in a much, much better position as he was in the previous game. But Kalaris, Scarlett needs more damage because eventually Mutas will not forever get the job done. That Phoenix count is climbing. A lot of Mutas are going down. This is actually a pretty wild fight.
Yeah, they were trying to just take the direct trade. 21 Mutas still surviving here, so quite a few went down in that exchange.
Oh, Neeb is making a mistake. His Mutas, actually, excuse me, Neeb's Phoenix was actually just following the Mutas, and then the 2 Void Rays getting picked off as well, or at least one of them went down, and the other one was in trouble. I mean, that's sloppy though, because there were 4 Phoenixes, and all 4 Phoenix have gone down already. If Phoenix are the counter to Mutas, you need to get that Phoenix count up.
You definitely do. Look at that. As you were saying, can just hover above these Archons and actually take the straight engagement against them. So Will dropping the storm. Time to run away from the storm.
All the +2 Banelings crashing into the middle line on the top side of the map. Oh. These are some painful losses for Neeb as 18 probes have gone down. I mean, this is honestly the power of that base. The double rich Vespian gas. The Adept is not enough here. Scarlett, blow up the Adept. Come on, Scarlett. There we go. These Banelings can get way more damage done in the natural. They still are +2 Banelings. They one-shot. Oh my goodness.
In a perfect world, those shouldn't have got any damage done at the natural. They had an opportunity to go from the 3rd to the natural and then somehow get all the probes.
Yep. 35 probes gone, just like that. Scarlett having the time of her life here in game 2.
Yeah. It feels like the game hasn't even been that heightened in terms of speed. This has been kind of a calm and collected game for the most part, in my estimations. And the Mutalisks have done fabulously against a lot of things, and Banelings have done what they do too.
We have 37 Mutas out right now with 6 more on the way. And Scarlett already lost 19 Mutas. These are pretty unreal numbers for a ZVP. Banelings trying to crash in. All the Banelings will get stormed. The problem is Neeb is just running out of anti-air. And I actually feel like this game is just about to end real soon. Neeb has 7 Phoenix, that's decent, but without any Impulse Crystals, that's still not really the number you want.
I mean, this is dream scenario for some Zergs when it comes to Mutalisk control. Having this many Mutas makes you feel like a god sometimes. As long as you're being able to keep on top of your control and making sure that you don't get hit by too much splash damage, it feels extremely satisfying to use this kind of army.
Neeb looked incredibly clean in game 1, but in game 2, I felt the Phoenix control was a little bit off. Scarlett takes game 2 in a very convincing manner, showing us that maybe opening with 4 Void Rays Kalaris isn't all that great. Anyway, we'll talk more about James and his love for Void Rays after this quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with game 3 between Scarlett and Neeb.
Welcome back. It's 1-1 currently in this series here between Neeb and Scarlett. We are going on to our final game, Eternal Empire. On the way, Rotterdam.
Yeah, it's been a pretty interesting best of three. I mean, just two kind of one-sided games, right? Neeb looked very dominant in game one. Really felt that he was never really in any trouble. And then in game two, it felt that Scarlett wasn't really in any trouble. She obviously dealt with the Void Race without too many issues. It turns out that Queens are still pretty good against Void Race. And I gotta say, I absolutely love the decision to go for Spire there. I always quote Naniwa there. If I was a Mutalisk, I would like to meet a Void Ray. That statement is still true many years later. And Scarlett just showed it to us. And that means that we are in the rubber match. Should be fun. Bottom left side, we're looking at the main base of Scarlett.
And up to the top right, in the blue, it is Neeb.
You know, sometimes you want to drag out an intro and you're like, and then you're like, nah, I'm just going to say the name. And then it's like, Scarlett. I was like, okay, that was pretty weird.
That's why the first S happened.
Yeah. Well, I was like, can we drag this out? The Canadian Zerg player currently in South Korea. I was like, nah, it's Scarlett. Let's just get it on. Obviously, Scarlett, her first match in this group. I mean, I think we're both looking at Neeb and Scarlett, and we will always expect them to finish bare minimum top 4 to make it into the playoffs. But I think we're all kind of expecting a top 2 finish for these two. But maybe, you know, if Scarlett indeed has been playing only Brood War, it could get difficult for her. If the rumors are true that Neeb isn't playing that much, I just don't believe that, because this is such a big event, so much prize money on the line. And this is an event where Neeb doesn't have to worry about those 2 European Zergs that have been preventing him from just continuing winning all these events, right? There's no Rainer here, there's no Serral here. So why would Neeb not be playing a lot? Why wouldn't we see the best possible Neeb? That just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I would have won that championship too if it wasn't for those pesky Zergs. Yeah, they can be a bit annoying sometimes. A thorn in the side of some of the other bigger names in the scene, Serral and Rainer. But yeah, alleviating those pressures is a good feeling. It's got to be a good feeling.
And Neeb showed that to us. I mean, the first season, a lot of people were eyeing Australia with all that practice in Korea. They thought that maybe that would be enough to take care of Neeb, especially after Australia made it into the GSL as well for the first time in his career. And Australia did go all the way to the grand finals, had a fantastic run. But in those grand finals, Neeb just showed who's still the boss of North America. Those were some absolutely fantastic games. I gotta say, interesting wall-off, interesting second pylon placement. Something that I do, but I'm weird and I play a little bit different. I normally don't see this from the top foreign provinces.
Yeah, not the most common of things. Is we have the littlelings just chasing on this probe. So, I mean, even if you just poke at the front, you know it's Stargate. I mean, it's in even range of the Overlord, right?
Yep.
So, it can be spotted.
Absolutely. That Overlord sees everything. So, a little bit odd. Maybe Neeb was worried that Scarlett would do a link flood, and he felt like if I can just have my second pylon, I feel a little bit safer on the low ground. But, yeah, definitely a bit strange.
And we're having the Adept poking on around. Leia already morphing on in. And the Adept will spot it.
That's very different as well. 2-base lair. I mean, something we see in ZVT, not something we see very often in ZVP. I know Serral did it a couple of times at one of the stay-at-home story cups. Said he'd be experimenting with it, and it was a Zhuge special. I believe that's where Lambo started giggling a little bit, and he's like, "It's just not good, Jonas. Stop it." So I was like, "Practice wasn't okay," and I was like, "Well, it didn't work out that great for Serral in stay-at-home story cup games. Maybe Scarlett will find more success." I mean, whenever I see 2-base, I'm thinking of something along the lines of a Nidus. I don't know. I really don't know.
All 4 gases went down straight into them as well. And once again, the Oracle will come in and get a few drones and then duck on out, but sees that the layer is still ongoing and sees no third as well. Infestation Pit.
Yeah, it must be Nidus Swarmos then, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Anything else just doesn't really make a lot of sense, but...
Anything else is bizarre.
I mean, There's no Roach Warren, so it can be Roach Queen Nidus. There's no Hydra then, so this must be just Swarmos Nidus, and that seems to be the case. I mean, of 2 bases, straight up, immediately. Once again, same story, right? If the first Locust gets proper damage done, this can really snowball out of control. It can spiral very quickly. I think Double Stargate in general is very good against these kinds of builds, though. Because Phoenixes are great in the air against these Locusts. As long as the Locusts are flying, they're taking double damage all the time from these Phoenixes. So I feel that Neeb has the tools to deal with this. But hey, we'll see.
I always used to think a Void Ray was a good answer to these kind of moves as well. But sometimes you see the Queens coming along with the Swarm Hosts. So that can put a wrench in the works for that. But it will continue to be Phoenix. There's the Swarm Hosts on the way.
Yeah,
probably a third now.
I think, sorry, James, but yeah, one Void Ray is indeed pretty nice, right? To potentially shut down the Nidus before it completes. Yeah, Void Ray is still expensive, takes a little while. Look at how Neeb is already spacing out all of his units. Neeb obviously has a fantastic read on this. And he's like, I'm going to make sure that that first Nidus network goes up pretty far away. The Phoenixes will spot it. The problem is Phoenixes cannot really deal any damage to this Nidus Worm. And there are so many queens out on the... Well, I say so many. 5 queens, but 2 more queens on the way. And we also have pathogen plants on the way already.
Yeah, double Phoenix production on still going here, whilst this is going to be able to rendezvous with this. So Insta, I think, very, very scared about the idea of these Phoenix instantly picking up units as they come out. So will not commit.
You know what I think is fantastic when you go up against this build? We also have a Twilight Council and a Dark Shrine. I think Dark Shrines are just so good in shutting this kind of stuff down as well. Now I've got 4 Infestors on the way. I mean, Fungo is still pretty damn good against Phoenixes. Fungos and Queens should take care of Phoenix builds. Queens are out. I mean, this is not a fight the Phoenixes want to take, but what they can do is just fly into the main base and kill a lot of drones because there is not a single Spore Crawler here. Oh, this hurts so much if you're a 2-base Zerg.
Yeah, that was brutal. 8 workers already going down very quickly. The Queens have to go all the way around to try and get back into this base. A lot of drones being replenished behind this. And because there's no ground forces on the other side of it, on this side of the map, I suppose you can get away with it for now.
Scarlett is definitely in a little bit of trouble. I mean, the opening got absolutely nothing done. We have 7 Swarmos still. They were still inside of the Nidus network. Now we've got a couple of Infestors as well. But soon the problem is not only going to be these Phoenixes. I mean, what? Okay. We're seeing Phoenixes lifting Zerglings in the center.
No,
5, 6 Zerglings got lifted. Not something I would normally want to spend my Phoenix energy on, but maybe Neeb is feeling that confident about his position that he's like, no, this is okay.
What are we looking to mind control here with these neuroparasites this early? Pretty crazy stuff.
That's a good question. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea.
Recall on these Phoenix, get them out of there. Here comes a little Locust wave, but it's not really near anything.
Neuroparasite a sentry and trapped Neeb's army, so he's forced to fight the Locust.
Huge. That's big brain.
That's literally something I've never seen before. Wouldn't that be something?
That would be something. I need that gif out of that guy with the controller. Do you remember?
Yeah, what is it? The freestyler. Freestyler.
Yeah.
That's a classic, mate. That's the music that I grew up with.
I remember it. I didn't really grow up with it. Like, it wasn't really my choice. I was more Prodigy and then into metal.
No, you were just too young to really appreciate freestyler. Fungo!
Oh no!
Well, actually, one of the Fungos does land. Only a single Infestor went down so far. Queens are going to come as well. And Neeb is going to bleed out quite a few Phoenixes here. This is obviously bad. I just don't think it's as bad as it normally would be. Because obviously Neeb is in such a good position in this game. But now, the first Nidus goes up. A couple of Locusts are going to make their way into the mineral line. Maybe this is the momentum that Scarlett needs to really turn this into a game.
Do you feel like a lot of, I mean, most this damage has been done in the natural? Do you feel like...
Yeah, that Nexus is dead, mate.
Yeah.
Locusts are insane.
So fast.
Every single time I ever wondered if a Nexus is going to die, the answer is yes. They always die.
Of
oh,
course.
the Infestors are a little bit exposed. Scarlett kind of forgot about her Infestors. They're just sitting there on the left.
Okay, yeah, they're in a no man's land. No.
Well, then this actually turns out all right for Scarlett, right? Now this is a nice choke point as well to potentially land one more.
Yeah.
This can get very bad for Neeb because now lurkers are out. I mean, Scarlett is really turning this into a game. And she's actually the one who's 2 workers ahead right now. Fungo is amazing against Zealots. And then having lurkers on the ground as well. I'm actually really starting to like where Scarlett is going with this. I don't know how we got here, James, but I'm liking it.
Right, I've got to ask you, Roddy, do you feel like on Neeb's side of things, there was a lot of apprehension about what on earth was going on in this game? Because it's been a rocky road in terms of a unique build coming out.
Yeah, I mean, like, maybe some people might be like, oh, lurkers are fine, pretty normal against Protoss. It's just the way we got there is very, very different. I'm with you. Neeb is going to lose his Nexus on the top side of the map as well. So that makes 2 Nexi going down. Neeb never rebuilt his natural, by the way. I just actually noticed that. So Neeb's economy is in shambles at this point. He's a 2-base Protoss, and he's incredibly heavy on the Zealots, and the Zealots are just not going to get it done. Not against Infestors on creep, backed up by lurkers. I think I'm with you, man. I think that Neeb was just like, this is going way too good. When the Phoenixes flew in, when he had such an easy time shutting down the initial Niduses, is like, well, what can possibly go wrong? Turns out that 2 Nidus waves, or 2 Locust waves rather, out of the Nidus network is all that can go down, and suddenly Neeb is a 2-base Protoss.
And suddenly, Scarlett has a pretty menacing army as well. Like, a lot of lurkers out, Hydralisks being added on, there was Infestors even there to boot. Like, ugh. Revelation is actually very useful, but these Swarm hosts are going to continue being pesky.
I'm always so surprised when I see somebody make this many Phoenixes and they didn't get +1. I know it's only 4 Phoenix left right now, but now Neeb is showing us that he wants to play very late game. He added additional Stargates, we have a Fleet Beacon, so carriers are definitely on the menu. The thing is, Neeb doesn't have a carrier economy, not until those Nexi are back up.
Yeah, and we're going to reposition to try and deny the space from going down itself. Storm goes in and hits quite a lot of these Hydralisks. They're going to have to move away from that. Some of these lurkers are not in range of the majority of the army, so this hatchery could go down. Nice! A little feedback on one of these Infestors will bring that away.
This game is about to get crazy. We've got a lot of Zerglings on the top side of the map, so Scarlett will take down one more next time, but we did have Zealots in the main base as well, taking out 11 drones. Neeb just wants to find some proper economic damage. Lurkers are here to save the day though, right? I don't think you take out this hatchery.
Yeah, Warp Prism is going to end up dying as well to a Spore Crawler. There is only 1 observer on the map right now, and it is currently with the army of Neeb here. Picking up some of these lurkers as well to try and bring them down with the storms in tow, but there's too much firepower there.
Yep, Neeb is having an issue because Neeb spent so much money on Stargates and Fleet Beacon, and what did he get out of it so far? Absolutely nothing. Only now 1 carrier is on the way. But this is actually starting to look super bad for Neeb, who could potentially be facing his first defeat in this group stage. And then Scarlett definitely came out surprising us a little bit here. I don't think a lot of us expected this. Now all of a sudden we've got 4 carriers on the way. I have no idea where Neeb found that money because I feel like he's been broke for quite some time.
I guess one of the big issues off the back of that is that Neural Parasite was researched ages ago.
So that's Scarlett was just way ahead of us, because like in 7-8 minutes there are going to be carriers.
Yeah.
And I need Neural.
4D multi-dimensional chess from Scarlett, just knowing exactly what's about to happen. 50 minutes down the line. Amazing.
This is honestly, I'm not sure if it's a brilliant game by Scarlett or if Scarlett is just freestyling, but it's all kind of connecting. It is working out. And I'm super worried for Neeb, yes?
We are mere mortals witnessing the power of a divine being right now when it comes to this build. I'm not sure either, but the storms are going to rain down on this army, and actually those were brilliant storms. Now the carriers are revealed.
The intercept count is super low though, but it seems barely high enough to push this back for now, so at least Neeb stays alive, but even replacing all those interceptors is going to become a problem. Neeb is finally starting +1 air weapons. I feel like that took a really long time. We still have Neural Parasite, and I don't see an observer with his army, James.
Oh no. Taking every single carrier, and Neeb has got to feel. There you go, GG. I don't think even you knew